here for the comments and we can start our discussion. All right, we are going to have to wait just a few seconds and give people time to join so we'll have something to talk about. I don't want anybody to miss anything. I just now turned on the news, so if they update anything, I'll probably sit here for a little while tonight and catch it. I don't have a whole lot of time to spend on the news tonight, so I thought this would be a great way just to sit here. I really wasn't even going to come back on tonight because it's like there's not a whole lot to talk about. But we can talk about what went down last night and what didn't go down. Oh my goodness. Uh, Yesterday was just a wave of clues and more clues and the photos that was released and then all the FBI agents all over Annie's neighborhood, which is the daughter, going door to door. I watched several hours of them going door to door. Nothing ever came of that. And then late last night, they had de- detained a person for questioning. And I just knew, if they pull you over for questioning, I would I would have thought they had something. They don't just pull Joe Schmo over because you look like him. I don't know if people reported this dude and said he looked like him. Uh, his mother-in-law said that don't look like him at all. But when I seen him, I mean, it seemed like there's so many people in Arizona that look like that. Every guy I've been seeing in the crowds and stuff, they all have a little mustache or and facial hair here, and they got, they're kind of built small. Uh, so I have seen so many people that look like that person. A lot of people are saying that band member that uh, Annie's husband is in a band, and one of the band members looks just like that guy. I don't know. I thought they had to check that out right off. Somebody just said they saw. I have not got to see them finding the gloves yet. Oh, that's going to be real interesting when I get to see that part. But anyhow, let's just talk for a minute about last night to catch everybody up while everybody's signing on. Last night was I was sitting on the edge of my seat because so much went down. And then I watched it till the guy got pulled over and they showed his car and then they showed the mother-in-law and they were interviewing her and they had detained this guy. And I thought that he knows something. If he ain't the guy at the door, he knows something. Well, come to find out, he didn't know nothing, and they let him go. So, did they nab the wrong person? How did they have all this information about this person? And they would have had to know the license on the car and everything to pull him over. And uh, yeah, and somebody said what was odd was the family didn't know. If you don't, some people aren't, into investigative stuff. And if you're busy working and that guy's got a regular job and he's door dashing, some people don't watch the news. I normally don't watch the news. I've only been watching it during this thing because the news is so bad and everything. And these people are just trying to, make a living and live. And he had no idea who this woman was. His mother-in-law said she seen something on Facebook, but she didn't know the girl, so she just scrolled on. Some people don't get all up into it, but uh, so anyhow, I don't know how in the world they did that. That was to me, it was a big flop. I don't know how the FBI grabbed the wrong person, or question somebody that had no, I mean, it wasn't like they wasn't even a little bit involved. They had no clue what was even going on. Yeah, this guy was sort of, I guess, Hispanic or whatever you call him. I don't know, Mexican. I don't know that close to the Mexican border. Maybe they're Mexican. I don't know what his thing was, but they swooped in there and took the mom, his phone, his wife's phone, his mother-in-law's phone, father-in-law's phone, and the grandkids' phones. I mean, they took everybody's phone in the whole house, took him, and then brought them all back. Thank you. Have a nice day. He didn't even know what they was taking him from. He thought he was getting kidnapped or something. They just pounce in on you and grab you and put handcuffs on you. So that was a big disappointment because I just knew they was on to something last night. And yeah, I don't know any other word for it except it was a big flop. It was very disappointing for us. I can't imagine for the family because the momentum was going last night. It was one thing after another, and I thought they were actually going to break the case last night. I thought they might at this rate of speed they were going uh, when they had so much to go on. But they are still gathering clues. So today I just kind of sat back and let them gather some clues. One of my questions, y'all, one of my questions was uh, somebody said they took Annie's mail today. Annie and her husband have private investigators, or not investigators, private security there. They are retrieving stuff that the family needs. So every day, those private security is going in, getting Annie's mail, taking her mail, putting stuff in plastic bags or whatever, and taking it to her. They're not taking evidence out of the house because they wouldn't put evidence in a grocery bag or a trash bag. They're going to conceal that stuff, so it won't get contaminated. These are the security team that's going in there and retrieving stuff for the family so the family doesn't have to come back. The family's telling them, go in this room, get me this, go in that room, get me that, bring our mail to us, and stuff like that. Okay, so um, my question is, released that video of that guy on the front porch and those four pictures of the guy on the front porch and all that. Now, we know we know Nancy came out the front door of her house, or at one time, oh, wait a minute. I just answered my own question. I was trying to figure out why they don't have video of Nancy coming out the door. I forgot. I don't know when he ripped off that camera. Maybe it was already down because when he was messing with the camera and stuff, he was just covering up with flowers. So I was wondering if they brought Nancy out that front door, why didn't it capture a picture too? So anyhow, that's probably why they didn't have because he probably did take it down after that. I don't know why a guy had gloves on coming out of Annie's. These investigators may wear gloves when they go in Annie's house because that may be, part of the active thing. And they don't want to leave any DNA there. They're just there, so that's just, they don't want to cloud up the DNA stuff. Yeah, Melissa, that's what I'm thinking. After he tried covering it up with the weeds or whatever, that's when he took it down. That's why he came out of the house. They came out the front door because there's blood on the sidewalk. I don't know what he did with the camera because his backpack was full. So unless he took something out of the backpack and left it in the house, his backpack was kind of full. I would think, he could even just throw the camera down on the ground or something. He probably tossed it out the window, or he may have, I don't know what he did with it. Because, okay, Aaron said she heard they have more videos just waiting to release them. Did you see that they are now wondering if somebody said, oh, they're going to see if Nancy's DNA are on those gloves. Yeah, somebody's want. I'm just going to say a little bit about that. Somebody on here said, "Why is this big news?" Somebody else asked me that today too. One of my family members said, "What's the big deal with this?" And I heard a guy on Facebook or somewhere today, Tony was playing it on his phone, and I don't even know who it was, but the guy was like, people go missing every day. There, I forget, he named how many missing people there are in the U.S. He said, why all of a sudden does her mother matter? And I got to thinking about that, and really it's true. I mean, really, her mother's no more important than any other missing person, right? And this guy, I don't even know who it is now. This ain't my opinion. This is what I heard this guy saying. He said that she was for open borders, uh, all this stuff like that. She defund the police. Now, this is what somebody was saying that uh, Savannah was for defund the police, open borders, and all this stuff. I don't know if it was. I never watched her before. I didn't even really know who she was because I don't watch the Today Show. Because, like I said, I've always had a job that worked and I never watched any morning shows. So, somebody said 125 people are on the missing FBI list. Yeah, and I don't watch any TV, Gene. Uh, I know I kind of got intrigued about it because it was an 84-year-old woman. I didn't really hone in that it's somebody's famous mother. Uh, I just feel bad that it's an 84-year-old woman, and that's what intrigued me. That who is going to do this to an 84-year-old woman? That's kind of what caught my, attention. I didn't know who Savannah was. I don't know how much money they're worth. I don't know any of that kind of stuff. But I don't know if it's true. I'm just telling you what I heard on Facebook. I don't even know if it was Facebook. It could have been YouTube. Tony just was scrolling, and this man popped up, and we just caught a few sentences of what he was saying. He was kind of upset because he said there's a lot of missing people out there, and that somebody else said that she was hateful to Trump when she interviewed him. And like on one hand, I hear she's the nicest person in the world and never a cross word. But on the other hand, people have been posting that that she is very ruthless in some of her what I say, some of her what is it, investigative whatever to people. I don't know. Uh, so somebody said, if the brother-in-law is a teacher, why is he in Italy? He was not in Italy unless he just went there. He was home when this happened a week ago. Yeah. Uh-oh, there goes the 8:45 train. Yeah, Shirley said there are a lot of missing people, and but what intrigued her is because the woman was 84, had mobility issues, and so I don't know, in one regards, it kind of isn't fair when you think about it, it's government money. When you're talking about there, some people get the FBI and all this, the very best of the best and all this stuff to solve a case. And some people was saying, why didn't, my kid went missing or something, or I don't know whose kids, I don't know that much about, I don't know that much about what kind of missing people cases there are. I don't know if there's kidnapped cases. I don't know. Uh, but I think a lot of us got, yeah. Well, that's true. She was kidnapped, so that makes it worse. She didn't just go missing. Sometimes people wander off, or they're missing, or they drive away, and uh, yeah, we're not. I'm not saying she was for somebody or against somebody. I'm just saying some people was talking on Facebook. Why does she get all this just because she's a famous person? Why does her mother matter more? And I kind of like, I hadn't really thought about it like that, but I don't know. Somebody saying, why can't Annie and them be at their house? I guess they could if they wanted to, but I guess they have a mansion somewhere, is what I heard. $1.2 million mansion somewhere, and they took them all there. So they can be together there out of the public's eyes. You don't want to be in your house with a bunch of reporters outside and a bunch of FBI agents walking around, and all that kind of stuff. Somebody said, why are you dwelling on this? We're not dwelling on it. It's an active case, and we're just on here to discuss it. And I put in the title, this is what this is. We're just discussing what we know, what we've heard. And if if you're not interested in that, don't make snide remarks. We'll just ban you from the stream. But just get off. It's real easy. That's why I put it in the title. We're going to discuss this because I have a lot of people on here that lives by themselves, or they want to, they don't know what's going on, and sometimes you hear one thing, sometimes you hear another thing. Yeah, some people find it weird that some people find it weird that so much time is being spent at Annie's house. We don't. I mean, they was definitely the FBI was at Annie's neighborhood yesterday for hours upon hours upon hours. I don't know what they're looking for. They were looking at the terrain. Uh, Security is at her house. So sometimes you get mixed up that there's people in and out of her house, but that's their security detail. And yeah, we're not dwelling on it. We're just having conversations. Yeah, and a lot of missing people, they're not kidnapped for ransom, and that's what they thought this was. She was taken against her will. And I didn't even know the difference. What is the difference, y'all, between kidnapped and abducted? Because I thought it was kind of the same thing. You nab somebody and get to getting it. So does anybody know what the difference in kidnap and abducted is? It might be something like the difference between burglary and robbery. Depends on if one's at night and one's at day. I don't know. Oh no, Betty said her son has been missing since 2017. Yeah, we like playing detectives and we don't want to play by ourselves. Yeah, the thing about it, the person that was at her front door, I don't think they're the ones that wrote no ransom note. That dude could barely walk. So I wonder how old that thing is. Not that thing, but I wonder how old. He is. Somebody said the black glove was found a little over a mile from her house. Well, I will be excited to know. I hope they can find DNA on that, y'all. Oh, if you're abducted, there's no money involved. Okay. Kidnapping is asking for ransom. Okay. Okay. I didn't know. They keep using the word. Yeah, I don't know anything about her high profile cases. I'll be the first to admit I never really even heard of her. But I know now, that she's a well known whatever on the Today Show and all that stuff. I just really never, I always had a job that I worked during the day. So a lot of people just like to come on here and enjoy the conversation. How many people we got on Facebook? My number went up to 479 and stopped. Okay, Google said kidnapping and abduction is the same. Somebody said, I find it so strange that a glove happened to be found today. Well, they may have not been driving up and down the road. I don't know. Was it visible from when somebody drove by and saw a glove? Well, actually, y'all, the glove video came out yesterday. So nobody was looking for that type of thing until they see the video yesterday. So, yeah, we don't know what type of glove they found, If did they find one that kind of looked like that video? I don't know. I did hear earlier that the backpack, the brand of backpack has been identified, and the brand of sweatshirt that he had on, and the brand of shoes is between two different things for shoes. So, uh, they found it searching sister's neighborhood. It was a black rubber glove. Yeah, this whole situation, I think that's what intriguing people too, because it just don't sound right. I mean, it gets bizarre by the minute. Yeah, Nancy Grace said they should all take a polygraph. I said that too from the get go. Start with the inner circle and polygraph them. At least you get a feel for something. Okay, somebody saying, what did you think about the picture they showed today of him by the door without the backpack on? I only got to see that for a minute. They said he didn't have the backpack or the gun on, so may have come around checking something and then went back and came up thinking there was a security camera up high, and then he realized it's right there on the door. Okay, Martha said the glove was very similar to what he was wearing. Oh, I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sleepy. I have been going at it today, and I'm just sitting here yawning. I don't know why they wouldn't do that. I read one time. Uh, what was I going to tell you? It went right out of my mind. Yeah, even the experts are baffled about this. Yeah, I think the family has moved out because it is like Grand Central Station at both the residences right now. Yeah, I don't know. They could have been. They're not telling us anything, y'all. They could have been polygraphing people. I don't know. Yeah, there's so many men out there with mustaches and little beards on their thing. Now somebody said they found a ski mask. Fiona. I have not heard that. FBI did what? FBI. Let's see. Heather said, I would have a complete heart attack if I woke up and there's a man that looked like him with a ski mask on. You better believe I'd come out of that bed a swinging. I don't know. I mean, I know he had a gun on the front of him, but I think I could have took him. I know she was 84 though, and not very mobile. Oh, they said he could have a tattoo or watch on his wrist. I did not hear that either. I have not heard anything. Yeah, we're just having conversations. I don't I am no expert at all. I'm just really feel sorry for the poor woman. I can't imagine waking up with a masked ski man in my bedroom in the middle of the night. I mean, you would just about have a heart attack. I would say her pacemaker probably started doing flippity flop flops. Uh, and y'all, a lot of people have been speculating this band member. They said her Annie's husband was in a band, and there's a member in that band, and it does look like that guy. I mean, but there's, like I said, there's so many smaller kind of Hispanic looking. They said this guy looked white, but I couldn't tell. Um, I know it's saying he stayed in the house with her for 40 minutes. I don't know if he was in the house that long or he ripped off the camera out front. He could have waited out front, maybe say 20 minutes to make sure nobody, that the police wasn't going to show up because the camera went off. Some people have that set like that. If your camera goes off, ripped off, it would notify the police. So he could have, ripped that off out front. And then it looks like he entered the house through the back door. So he probably, I don't know what he was doing going through the front door anyways. It don't make sense because there was a security gate on the front door and he couldn't get in that way anyways. And most of the time, uh, why wouldn't you go in the back? If you plan on going the back door, I mean, somebody could have heard you out front or seen you, but nobody could see from the road. But somebody said the back door was wide open when the police went there. So I don't know if you went in the back door. I can see why he took her out the front door because he had to put her in a car or something if he was walking her somewhere. And I don't know why we can't see a car. I don't know if you can how close you can drive up to the house. But there's no car anywhere. Somebody said no doors were damaged. I had heard that the back door was open, and I'd heard there was forced entry. I assume the back door. I don't know. Yeah, they said that it seemed like an amateur, and not a very professional person. And when he approached the house, he was just bent over and going slow. And then, when you approach it and you realize there's a camera there, so you block it with your fist, uh, he had no choice. He could have took the backpack off. He should have just took one hand, covered the camera so they couldn't see nothing, slipped the backpack off, and whatever's in that backpack, get a piece of tape or something. But he didn't. He turned around, and by turning around, he got a full view on camera of his whole body plus the backpack. And plus, he walked over and how he bent over. They studied all this. So he gave them a whole bunch of clues because he was not prepared for a ring cam or a nest camera or whatever you want to call it. Yeah, a lot of people are saying this is a distraction, but they say that every time the Epstein files are about to come out, that there's a big commotion going on somewhere to distract everybody from what's going on in Congress with the Epstein files. I don't know that much about the Epstein files. I don't care to know about it, so I don't know anything about that. Like I said, I usually don't even watch the news. Yeah, the FBI has got a reward of $50,000. I would think, maybe that's why all these people, they said so many tips came in the last 24 hours, but people's just calling in and saying, it looks like so and so. Well, if so and so, you know, they probably thought that Carlos looked like so and they just arrest Carlos. And if Carlos was the dude, they could have got, split the $50,000. Yeah, they said the person coming to that door was not very well planned out. He was not in any hurry. He was barely moving. It almost could have been like he had no pep in his step. Put it that way. Yeah. Yeah. Everybody has cameras, so you would think if it was me, I'd have come in from the side or something. I don't know. Or bring a piece of cardboard with you and hide it till you can get to the camera. Or come in the back door. There was no ring camera at the back door. I don't know why people don't put them at all their doors. Most people just got it at their front door. Uh, yeah, let's see. Somebody said, I'm so smart. I need to work with the FBI. I should have, but I retired 37 years from the CIA. So I don't plan on going back to work nowhere. I'm done. I just like criminal stuff. I like solving cases, solving problems, working puzzles. And this is just like a big old puzzle. You get all these little pieces. Fiona, I don't know. I had thought about that. Maybe the son in law hired somebody because you don't know. A lot of people said it could have been Annie, but Annie would have known about the cameras. If it was Annie or the son in law, if you're really planning this, you would take those cameras down days before and just tell mama that, that camera out front's not working. We're going to have to get you another one. So I'm going to go ahead and take it down and then just stall with getting a new one. I mean, that's easy done. Because most older people's not going to say, don't you touch my camera. They're going to let their son or daughter or whatever say, oh, sure, just get me another one and you can install it for me. And you wouldn't think nothing about it. They would have done that. They're not going to they're not, you know, the son and daughter, the daughter and son in law are very smart people. If they had any involvement in this, they would have made sure those cameras did not work at mama's house. They would have made 100% sure. They knew she had cameras. Uh, he did not go in the front door. He was only getting the camera off the front door for whatever reason. I don't know. She had a security door on the front door that they say you cannot break in through. I don't know if y'all noticed this, but a lot of people in Annie's neighborhood, I don't know about Annie's house, but a lot of them in that neighborhood, when they were going door to door yesterday, they all had bars on their windows. Did anybody else catch that? So, oh, somebody said they said no forced entry. I heard the back door was open. I don't know. It seems like she did. Okay, Rose said she did notice the bars. Yeah, she didn't have anybody living with her. She was in her sound mind, y'all. She was just a little slow to get around. How did the camera get on top of the roof? She probably had that installed a long time ago. Yeah, that's the only reason I don't, the son in law to me, the whole thing's a little suspicious. But if it was them or if they'd hired somebody, they would have got rid of them cameras. They would have just, I would have just told Mama, that camera's not working that good. They got a new model out and I'm going to get you one. Let's go ahead and take this one off. But they didn't do nothing like that. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we don't know the family dynamics. We don't know, they act like the brothers and the sisters was close to one another. Uh but we don't really know. And what I'd like to know, was it normal for her to go over to Annie's house and eat dinner and play games? Or was that like a finale, like something's about to happen to Mama, so let's have her over here and like have one last shindig. I don't know. It's just so crazy. It's just I don't know if it's a coincidence that she went over to the daughter's house and had dinner. I don't know, did they do it every Saturday night? I don't know. See, we don't know stuff like that. We can't piece together because we don't know what's normal for their families. Yeah, I didn't feel like that those kids were that close. It seemed like all the pictures I seen is just Savannah and her mama was close, but not so much the sister or the brother. Somebody said she did go to her daughters often. Okay. Somebody said Annie had zero income for 2025. I don't know. I heard she was a teacher or professor. I don't know. I did hear that they thought the backpack came from Walmart. And, a lot of times Walmart, I mean, they do get a lot of backpacks in and stuff, but one like that, they might get what, 5, 10, 15. They're going to be cross referencing all this stuff. And if somebody in the same transaction bought a backpack and a sweatshirt, but I feel like the guy probably already had the clothes. He may have had to buy a backpack. He may have had to buy a ski mask. I mean, it's hot out there in the desert. I don't even know if local stores sell ski masks. Do y'all know? I don't know why in the world they'd be wearing sea mask. I mean, sea mask. Ski mask out there in Arizona. Let's see. I got some news station on now. They're out all walking, all FBI. They're probably scouting around to see if they can find another glove or something. They're gonna cover every inch, whatever you can throw from the road and it lands somewhere. Wherever they found one glove, I'm sure that's what they're doing now. She did not live close to Savannah. Savannah lived in New York. As far as I know, that's where the Today Show is. So, all right, y'all. Well, we don't. Let's see. My TV just went off. All right, Connie. Connie's saying the family did come out and clear up the part about the church service. Uh, the church service was all discombobulated because somebody said she watched church online, and how would they know if she didn't show up? Here's the family corrected it and said during COVID, their mama and some friends got together and they met every Sunday morning and they watched an online church service, the same church that Savannah, her daughter, goes to in New York, or online. But that's the service that they watch, her and her friends. I don't know how many, there's a small group of friends that meet at each other's homes. They take turns going to each different homes, and she did not show up for that church service. So it's just a group of their friends, and that's how they knew she was did not come there. They tried to call her, so they then turned around and called Annie. So they did say the Black Club was close to Nancy's house. Jean Helt said she watches our church service. The news, let's see, Liz said the news said she did go on Saturday nights for dinner and game night at her daughter's. Okay. Yeah, they said the pastor of the church there in uh, Tucson uh, didn't know anything about this woman, and that's why she had not been to that church in at least 5 years, and they did call Annie. I think that friend called Annie and said, "Your mom didn't show up. You know, we're concerned about her. Go by and check on her." And I think Annie and them went by and checked on her. And that's when they found all this stuff. So, all right, there is so much misinformation. So don't kind of share anything, like share it on Facebook and stuff. If you don't if you read something and said, they found a body, she's dead. Well, go and look and see if all the news stations are reporting it, then it happened. But other than that, they're all saying she dead. They're saying people got arrested and all this kind of stuff. All right, y'all, I'm gonna go look a little bit at the news. I don't know why my TV just went off. I hope my cable ain't out. What channel is Fox News? Fox News on my station, I think is 300 and something. I don't know. I don't know what it is on my station. I gotta find out. Yeah, most of the time, see, Carol's over on YouTube saying, wouldn't you have a ransom note already ready if you're going to kidnap somebody? If your goal was to get money, you're going to have a note ready and you're going to leave it for the family, leave it in the house. Hey, I just took your mama. Call me. Let's swap money and mama. But, sending it to a news station and getting this all worked up through the news is crazy. All right, well, yeah, Lena said that's what I do. If I see something on Facebook, I start Googling it and see if it's true. Okay, channel 360 on Direct TV is what somebody's saying. All right, let's get off here, y'all. If we get any news, we'll talk about it tomorrow. Good night, everybody.